Well, a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trent Bridge. The clocks haven't even gone forward yet, but cricket is with us. It's late March, but we are going to have some cricket over the next 3 days here at Trent Bridge as the season properly gets underway for cricketers up and down the land. Nottinghamshire facing Oxford University, or the University Centre of Cricketing Excellence as they're now known. This isn't a first-class fixture. The traditional first-class matches against the universities have now been replaced by a series of pre-season friendlies up and down the country. The university sides playing against many of the counties, but here at Trent Bridge, Notts will be looking to get some welcome practice in, some match practice over the next 3 days. I can tell you that Notts will be batting. Not entirely sure whether there was a toss or a gentleman's agreement, but Notts are batting first, and they've announced a squad of 13 that we'll see in action over the next 3 days. Seba Mead and Ben Slater, I would imagine, will open the batting. Ben Duckett, Joe Clarke, Ben Compton, Stephen Mullaney, Tom Moores, Joey Everson, Lyndon James, Brett Hutton, Luke Fletcher, Peter Trigo and Liam Patterson-White are the 13 that Stephen Mullaney will have at his disposal over the next 3 days. There are a couple more pre-season matches, a 2-dayer at Edgbaston against Warwickshire next week, and then a 2-dayer here against Leicestershire. I'm sure we'll see the likes of Zach Chappell and Tom Barber and the new South African overseas player Dane Patterson. Matt Carter not involved in this game. Toby Petman and Sol Buddinger, I wonder if they'll get a run out as well, but that's in the future. Here at Trent Bridge, the sun, appropriately enough, just trying to peek its nose through the clouds. A blustery day. They say the temperature will be around about 13 degrees, but it will stay fine. A warm welcome to the Oxford side, the students just taking to the field at the far end of the ground. So very good morning to you. I'm Dave Bracegirdle, and this match will be played over 3 days, 3 2-hour sessions each day. There's no specific overs that need to be bowled, so we'll be playing till 1 o'clock, lunch till 1:40, the afternoon session 1:40 to 3:40, and the evening session 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock, and provided the light holds, we'll play till 6 and then knock it on the head. If there is a substantial period of rain or weather interruptions over the course of the 3 days, then they will look at rejigging it, but as it stands, we're set fair, you'd assume, for Notts to bat most of the day, and many of the 13 will I was going to say hope to be involved. I guess the batsmen will want to make sure that they make the most of this opportunity. So it is Ben Slater and Seba Mead who forged a very healthy partnership for Nottinghamshire in the last 3 matches of the Bob Willis Trophy last year, that truncated season. Notts drawing 3 and losing 2 of their 5 matches. They'll be looking to start this season on the front foot to get the bowling underway for the students. It's Hugo Whitlock, plays his club cricket down in South Devon. Bovey Tracy, 24 years of age, right arm seamer, and he's going to straight away go round the wicket to Ben Slater. As you're watching the live stream, you can see we're right over towards the Smith Cooper side of the ground, and we're underway here at Trent Bridge. First ball of the new season. It's gone through to the cricket to the wicket keeper for the students. That's Matt Taylor, and he's a familiar name to many in these parts because he plays for Kimberley, not too far away. If you've managed to find us through the club website, and also available on YouTube. Next delivery from the tall leggy Whitlock is whipped away on the leg side, and a single, so Notts are up and running Absolutely delighted half an hour or so ago to socially distance myself, but catch up with Roger Marshall, the club scorer. He missed last year. He didn't do those games in August and September. So after what must seem like an absolute lifetime, Roger is back scoring in person. It tells me that he did actually manage to keep the club's official scorebook up and running from home last year, following on the live stream and the commentary. So I could only apologise to Roger, but lovely to see him. Ian Smith, as ever, working the screens here at Trent Bridge. He's over in the Batman board, as we call it, over the far side of the ground. Good to have him back. A couple of Nottinghamshire birthdays as well to mention today, as Asiba Mead prepares to face his first ball. It's gone away. It's swung back sharply, beating the dive of the keeper, and that's 4 byes. It's a handy delivery to get first up there from young Whitlock, but Asiba Mead left it alone, and then considerable deviation, which will give encouragement to the bowler Hugo Whitlock. 5 without loss. Already extras playing a healthy hand. Next ball again left alone, and repeated the previous one, but this time keeper Taylor was ready for it and takes a good diving save. Yes, those 2 birthdays. A very happy birthday, Mr. President. It is the President's birthday. No, I'm not talking about Mr. Biden. I'm talking about somebody in these parts who has even greater significance. It is Bashir Hassan's birthday. Absolutely splendid that Bashir is the club president. Here's Whitlock in once more. Nice and full, and that's a glorious looking way to get off the mark from Hamid. Stroked it through. Backward point for 4 runs. So a productive opening over this for Ben Slater, who's on 1. Asiba Mead has now got a boundary. It's 9 without loss. So that's one of the birthdays. Bashir is 77 today, our club president, and incidentally he made his Nottinghamshire debut way back in 1966 against, drumroll, Oxford University, but that was at the Parks. Next ball short and dropped on the leg side by Hamid. 9 without loss at the end of that opening over. Slater and Hamid getting us underway at the start of the new season. The other birthday, Graham Swan. Many happy returns to the former England international. Born in Northampton, of course. He's 42 today, Graham Swan. His last match was the 2013 Lord's final, the win over Glamorgan. Crikey. That's 7.5 years ago, folks, since Swanee wore the Nottinghamshire colours, but let's wish him many happy returns. It's been an overseas commentary duty. Caught him a time or 2 on commentary from distant shores through the winter. New bowler for the students from the pavilion end is just 19 years of age. Toby Greatwood wears number 30. And he's already played a little bit of minor counties cricket for Berkshire, where he hails from. Shorter approach than Whitlock. Here he comes. Bowls short and wide, and Slater will get a single. Although he's even got to put the afterburners on to make sure he gets that. That's a good stop at backward point by Charlie Gwynn. Diving away there to his left to prevent a boundary. Slater moving on to 2, but as it left the bat, I'm sure he thought he was going to get a boundary. 10 without loss. Glad to have you with us on the live stream. Just to let you know, at the moment, one or two new bits of kit being trialled out, and will be through the course of the day. We'll get the graphics up for you, the score, just as soon as they can. 10 without loss. Next ball down the leg side. I mean, he lets it go. Certainly a 1 day wide, but because we're playing red ball cricket. A decent tumbling stop from Matthew Taylor, the wicket keeper. So Basher Addison, Graham Swan celebrating their birthdays today. But lovely to see Basher back on the ground. Not sure he was able to get to any of the cricket last year. Many thanks for people getting in touch, as next ball is forced away by Hamid. Just a gentle placement by the Bolton-born opening batsman. Decent time of things last year, Hamid, in the Bob Willis Trophy, playing in all 5 games. Top score of 87, 350s, average just under 39 with the bat, but gave Notts some healthy starts in the Bob Willis Trophy last year, and he's been rewarded really for his approach and no little skill, but certainly his enthusiasm since coming to Trent Bridge. I'll tell you more in a second, as the next ball just played a little suspiciously by Slater down into the ground, and it runs past him and past the stumps through to Taylor. Hamid has been appointed Nottinghamshire's vice captain, second in command to Stephen Mullaney. That's in the red ball cricket, and he will skipper the side in the Royal London One Day Cup, which will be played the back end of the season this year. 11 without loss, wide of the off stump, this time by Greatwood. Guessing it's the first time that Nottinghamshire have gone into a season announcing 3 different captains for the 3 formats. Stephen Mullaney, the club captain, the red ball captain. Dan Christian announced this week, confirmed that he'd be coming back as Notts begin their defence of the T20. That's a decent delivery and a good shout from behind the stumps. I think it struck him high. End of the over, 11 without loss. Greatwood going for 2 runs. Might have gone for a boundary first ball, but for that fabulous stop at backward point. Hamid has 5. Slater has a couple of runs. And Hasib Hamid will skipper Notts in the Royal London One Day Cup, the 50 over competition. As I say, played at the back end of the season with Stephen Mullaney, one of the many Nottinghamshire players who have been snapped up for the 100 competition. And Mullaney, one of the Trent Rockets, so he'll miss the Royal London One Day Cup. This is edged, I think, an involuntary edge from Hamid down into the ground. Looks a real prospect here. Young Whitlock, big tall man. 1 or 2 people, as I say, getting in touch. Absolutely delighted to hear from you. Malcolm Shearston, great to have the cricket back. Thank you, Malcolm. Jim Metcalf, fantastic to hear the cricket once again for the first time in 2021, having a cracking season. This is edged and has been taken, and Whitlock has got the wicket. It's a catch at slip, and Hasib Hamid has gone for 5, and the right-hander has been put through a torrid little spell there in the early stages of this one, and has now nicked Whitlock through to slip, and he will go, and the first wicket has gone down in the 3rd over. Notts are 11 for 1, and the man out is Hasib Hamid. He's been caught at slip by McBride from the bowling of Whitlock. Chris McBride, 21-year-old, pouched it nicely down to his right. Whitlock has offered a threat in the early stages and has now got his reward. Notts are 11 for 1. We saw last year the players every 6 overs or so, or the fall of a wicket, popping away to the boundary edge to sanitise their hands. This is very much still in force, folks. Of course, you don't need me to remind you. That's why there's no spectators allowed in the ground. See, 1 or 2 people might pick them up on the stream, 1 or 2 people around, but they are part of the respective coaching staff from either side. 11 for 1 then, Hamid caught. That's a decent start to the day for the students. Just answering one or two people. Asking how they can get the commentary through the club's feed. Also on YouTube. So the new batsman is Ben Duckett. Hmm. 11 for 1. Duckett, of course, ended the season stroking the ball away magnificently for a boundary to take Notts to T20 blast glory at Edgbaston. For some reason I can't get through to Chris Nash, who's asking how we can follow the commentary. If anybody can get through to Chris Nash, just let him know. Either a link or I'll steer him in the right direction. 11 for 1. This one's gone through to the keeper. Nice to know that former Nottinghamshire player is following proceedings. Understand, just getting a little bit of inside information that of the 13 announced, certainly in the first innings, the plan is that Peter Trigo and Liam Patterson-White would be the two that aren't scheduled to have a bat. This has struck Duckett on the pad, and now he's come a long way down and had to, well, I was going to say had to scramble to get back. He was very much giving it up, just hoping that the shy at the stumps wouldn't hit. On this occasion it didn't. A little bit of a mix-up there between the two left-handers, and they're trying to sort things out, just having a little chat. Man coming in there was Toby Greatwood, the bowler from the pavilion end. Next ball down the leg side, well taken by Taylor. So 3 overs gone, 11 for 1. Nottinghamshire batting first in this pre-season. Say friendly, but it's a warm-up game. It's more than a friendly. It's an opportunity for the players who have been outside now for 2 or 3 weeks, just to get some match practice in. Ben Slater. Couple of singles to his name so far, 11 for 1. Morning to Dave Palmer, to Rachel, to Colin Beckett. A lot of people tuning in. Again, if somebody can steer Mr. Nash, Chris Nash, in the right direction, please. This is down the leg side. This is well taken again by Taylor, who's had a lively start to things in the early stages. A couple of slips and a gully. University side understandably got a lot of youngsters just making their way. 11 for 1. This next one's dropped on the leg side. Number 40, Calvin Harrison, has had a little bit of first team exposure with Hampshire, played 2 matches in the Blast last year. He's a leg spinner, so I expect to see him maybe towards the end of the session or through the afternoon. Don't expect to see him yet. 11 for 1. Slater still on strike and now clips it away firmly. That's a decent stop at mid-wicket. Pictures are being brought to you as over the last few years with the live stream through Stoneheart Media. Welcome to all their staff that are here, Chief Exec Kirsty Lord and producer Aaron. 11 for 1. Next ball down the leg side, tickled away. It'll be a single to Slater. Whitlock doing the fielding. 12 for 1. A couple of roving camera operators, although they're not doing a deal of roving out there. You can see Jono, who's in the Smith Cooper stand, sideways on. So when you see the pictures from that side of the ground, say hello to Jono. Spencer's with us on the Radcliffe Road balcony, and there are 4 other static cameras around the ground. A wicket wide one, and one at either end, and a ground wide camera. Next one is driven handsomely, and it's well stopped at mid off there. It's Louis Shaw, the university's captain, making the stop. 12 for 1. Slater has 3. Duckett, no score. And the man out is Seba Mead in the 3rd over for 5. A little disappointing, but we can live without it. We won't have the on-screen graphics for you today. The kit that's been tried and tested thus far, not able to provide the on-screen graphic, so I'll keep you up to date. 12 for 1 as we start the 5th over of the day with a delivery outside the off stump. Ben Slater has 3. Duckett yet to score. Slater, 29 years of age now, from Chesterfield. He's a former universities man, of course. He made his first class debut for Leeds Bradford way back in 2012. First ball clipped away by Slater. Again, they'll settle for 1. It's 4 singles now to Slater. 13 for 1 in the 5th over, and Ben Duckett, who's still looking for his first run, down on strike. Slater's first class debut was against Surrey at the Oval in 2012, and of course his Nottinghamshire debut was against Surrey at the Oval. That was in 2018. Played 88 first class matches now, 21 of them for Notts. And overall in his career, 7 first class hundreds. Duckett on strike, hit on the back pad. They're asking umpire Rob White to... Rob's out there umpiring, 2 former Northants men as well. Rob White is at the bowler's end at the moment, and at square leg, the pavilion end, Rob Bailey, the unmistakable figure of Rob Bailey, one of our experienced umpires. Morning to Ian Brewster. Great to hear the commentary again, watching on the live stream. Next ball is nicked, and Duckett walks, and he's gone for naught. Batting isn't easy out there. The ball is swinging around, particularly when it's being delivered by the big tall seamer from this end, Hugo Whitlock, and he's got a couple of early scalps here. Duckett has gone for naught. Terrific bit of bowling. Notts are 13 for 2 in the 5th over. Good diving take by Taylor. And that's disappointing for Ben Duckett. I'm sure we'll see him again through the course of the game. Bowled really nicely, Whitlock. To his 3rd over now, 2 for 6. Mead out for 5, Duckett out for 0. A couple of years ago, of course, Slater and Duckett put on over 300 at Fenners against Cambridge University. That was a first-class game, but it really meant there weren't too many opportunities, and certainly in that first innings for the other players. It's not been the same today. A couple of early breakthroughs here in really good seamer-friendly conditions. It's green, it's just a feel of moisture in the air, although it is a dry day and expected to stay dry, but it's very overcast. And certainly the big tall fella from this end, Hugo Whitlock, has enjoyed hitting the seam and getting the ball to jag around. And he's got his reward. 13 for 2. New man is Joe Clarke. Been away like many of the players through the winter. Joe Clarke had a little bit of Big Bash exposure, and also played in both the T10 League and the Pakistan Super League. Joe Clarke, 24 years of age now, 25 next month. His Notts debut was almost exactly 2 years ago in that match at Fenners. Played 18 matches for Notts now, just short of 1,000 runs, averaging 31.24 with 4 centuries. And he prepares to face his first ball and defends it nicely. That slip cordon has been reinforced by Louis Shaw, the students' captain. 3 slips in a gully in there, not surprising. Michael Smedley been in touch. Good to see Notts signing the lad from Oxford. Hope he will get a chance with all these bowlers around. Our last Oxford boy, Mark Waugh, I remember him having a conversation with his old professor in the pavilion at the Parks, talking about his future career in law. Yes, Mark Waugh, one of a number of players that represented Oxford University and Notts. This is pushed into the offside by Clarke. He remains on 0. End of the 5th over, and the early stages have certainly been profitable for the students. Notts are 13 for 2. Ben Slater has 4. Joe Clarke's just faced a couple of balls and yet to get off the mark, but Hugo Whitlock has figures of 3 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 6, and that's because he's had a Mead caught at slip for 5 and Duckett caught behind without scoring. It'll be Toby Greatwood to continue from the pavilion end. Rob Bailey is the umpire, left alone. Dr. Catherine Waite has been in touch, preparing my final lectures of the year and listening to the cricket. This must mean it's nearly summer, right? Let's hope so. Let's hope we get a full cricket season. We'll get spectators back just as soon as it's allowed. And Slater looking to force this away. Doesn't really get him any momentum into that push on the offside. Fielded by Charlie Gwynn. Again, I repeat, this isn't a first-class game, but fixtures between Nottinghamshire and Oxford University, as it always was, have been a regular fixture over the years. First played in 1905. 35 games have been played in all. Only one of them here at Trent Bridge, the rest down at the university, mainly at the parks. Next ball wide of the off stump, and Slater goes after it, down on one knee, tries to force it away. Chris Nash is now connected. Good to have the old boy along. Quite a topsy-turvy time during his 3 years with Notts. Of course, that nasty injury at the start, his first T20 game against Warwickshire, stopping, I think it was it Sam Hain drilling the ball to extra cover, made a decent stop, but at the hand, 13 for 2. Of course, he skippered Notts for a wee while when Stephen Mullaney was away with the England Lions, and captained the green and golds to the win at Chelmsford against Essex, which remains the last first-class win. Next ball is edged away for 4. Runs for Slater, not in the textbook manner that he would have liked them to have come. He's got a top edge and the ball's flown high over sort of a third slip region and away down below us for 4 runs. Slater's first boundary. He moves on to 8, end of the 6th over here at Trent Bridge. Notts a 17 for 2. Hamid out for 5. Duckett out without scoring. Joe Clarke yet to score. Slater has 8, and of course Chris Nash ending his Nottinghamshire career with a medal round his neck, although again almost one of those scenarios that you couldn't write. Injured in the semi-final, had to sit out the final. Peter Trigo coming in, and I think Peter Trigo on the day played a very substantial role in Nottinghamshire being able to pick up their second T20 Blast trophy, although Christian and Duckett also played major hands on the night. Next ball is just played down into the gully region by Joe Clarke. Last time Notts went to the parks, I was with them, was 7 years ago, round about now. Very gloomy conditions there as well, and it was a real old shame, I guess. Not that it matters really, these things, but Oxford University were 9 wickets down, and the last pair hung on for a while, and then it just got so dark that they couldn't continue. So a draw was the outcome. Good delivery indeed from Whitlock. Certainly been the eye catcher so far on the opening half an hour or so of this morning's play. Both wickets to Whitlock, and he's produced a number of deliveries like that one. So again, apologies, not exactly teething troubles, just want to get everything right for the new season, but no graphics on the screen, and the replay's not working yet. That's a good shot, forced into the offside by Clarke and well stopped by Shaw. That Oxford side 7 years ago, the last time Notts went to the parks, Charlie Morris played. He was just sort of on the fringes of getting a go with Worcestershire, and really did impress. He dismissed Stephen Mullaney, Sam Kelsall. This one's onto the pad of Clarke. Ball's somehow eluded second slip, but they don't get a run. Yes, Morris got rid of Mullaney, Kelsall and Patel. Sam Kelsall's final first-class appearance that match, and so too Sam Wood, who played in it. Yes, the students 86 for 9 hanging on. There's Clarke drilling the ball firmly back off some part of the giant frame of bowler Whitlock. Might have been the shin, but he seems to be okay, and it's gone through him for 4. So Clarke off the mark. Low full toss, hammered down the ground by Joe Clarke. 21 for 2. Chris Nash, thanks for reminding me of finals day. For some reason, Chris, you just can't get through to you on the old direct message, so can't answer you on there. 21 for 2. Next ball, again, floated up for Joe Clarke to throw the bat at it. Drives it into the offside, and Shaw makes the stop. 7 overs have gone. 21 for 2 here at Trent Bridge. Again, the light reasonable. Just see, we've been playing for about half an hour. A little bit of a switch at the far end. Number 62, Mohammed Rizvi, has gone off the field, and Alex Wilkinson, the University's 12th man, has come onto field. Rob Bailey just eyeing him suspiciously. The new man's gone to square leg. Greatwood, 3 overs, none for 7. He's the man who's played a little bit for Berkshire. Comes in again and bowls, and Slater on 8 forces it to backward point. 21 for 2 it remains. The bad barred bird says there's a little bit of echo on commentary. Apologies for that. Not sure what's causing it, as Slater pushes into the offside, scampers through for a quick single, called Joe Clarke immediately. Takes the single. Yes, Joe Clarke played a little bit for the Perth Scorchers, and also played for Team Abu Dhabi in the T10. He had Chris Gale as a teammate there. Ben Duckett also played. Paul Franks was one of the coaches, I think. Dougie Brown was the head coach, and Clarke also played for the Karachi Kings in the Pakistan Super League, which sadly didn't get finished. Averaged 37.5 last year, Clarke, in the Bob Willis Trophy, the 5 matches. 22 for 2 knots. Next ball sees Clarke push at it. Ball well wide of the off stump. Could so easily have got a nick through there to one of the grabbers. Stephen Mullaney listed coming next, although Ben Compton also in the list of batters. 22 for 2 as bowler fields off his own bowling. So Mullaney and Compton, or Compton and Mullaney. Tom Moores, Joey Everson and Lyndon James. Brett Hutton, good to have Brett Hutton back at Trent Bridge. 3 years away with Northants. He had a couple of profitable years, didn't feature too much last year. 22 for 2. Next ball is forced up to mid-on, no run. Luke Fletcher. Of course, Luke Fletcher didn't feature in the Bob Willis Trophy last year, and picked up a side strain in the warm-up game against Leicestershire before the season started, so maybe a little wary. Also Peter Trigo and Liam Patterson-White, will see a little bit of them through the course of the match, but they're not expected to bat. Next ball is played into the offside by Clarke. End of the 8th over. 22 for 2 here inside Trent Bridge. Nice to see the seats full again, but it's also nice to see white seats. I've done a number of football matches up and down the land over the course of the winter. Forgotten what white seats look like, and generally have club colours or sponsors' logos all over them. In fact, a lot of the cricket we've seen from overseas on television screens through the winter have had highly decorative seats. Blues and yellows and reds and greens, but really is lovely again to just see the white seats of Trent Bridge as Whitlock starts his 5th over, bowling round the wicket to Slater, who's on 9. Faced 22 balls now, Ben Slater. It's not been easy out there, and a couple of batsmen have perished early on. Mead for 5, caught at slip. Ben Duckett caught behind for 0. And the wicket's going down at 11 and 13. Next ball played onto the leg side. Signs there that it might just be a little slippy in places, because Toby Greatwood quickly to the ball, and there was half a suspicion there. He's looking at his studs now, just getting a little bit of grass away from the sole of his boot. He almost slipped over there. Ground, needless to say, in immaculate condition. Steve Burks and the rest of his crew must be very proud. It's one wide of the off stick, and it's a good job there wasn't a nick, because Taylor inexplicably dropped it and then rehearses the take again. Students 11, Matthew Taylor, Hamza Ahmed, William Heathfield, Chris McBride, Louis Shaw, Calvin Harrison, Mohammed Rizvi, Charlie Gwynn, Toby Greatwood, Hugo Whitlock and Jack Charters. 22 for 2. Next ball past the outside edge again through to the keeper. We get the little player profiles. Many thanks for supplying them from the university, and for several of the bowlers, including the 2 in operation at the moment. Right arm seamers or right arm medium fast, but for number 64 Jack Charters, right arm fast, so we're looking forward to seeing him have a go as and when. This one's clipped away behind square. This will be another single to Ben Slater, and he scrapes into double figures. The left-hander is on 10, 23 for 2, so Jack Charters wears number 64, 21 years of age, from York Cricket Club. Not really au fait with the Oxford Brookes side of things, but I understand most of the team attend Oxford Brookes University rather than Oxford University itself. 23 for 2, wide of the off stick and through to the keeper. End of the 9th over. Whitlock 5 overs, 2 for 11. Didn't seem to be any communication there between himself and his captain, so presume he's going to get another one. And again, it looks as if Whitlock is going to continue. Greatwood, I beg your pardon, at the pavilion end. Greatwood has bowled 4 overs, none for 8. He's been relatively tidy. The toing and froing of Oxford 12th men has seen Wilkinson return to the dressing room. Mohammed Rizvi is back on and takes his place at square leg. So it's going to be Greatwood. 23 for 2, Nottinghamshire. This one's on the pads, and that's probably the most convincing shot of the morning from Ben Slater. He'll have enjoyed that. He'll really have been delighted to get a ball on his pads there that he could tickle away through the leg side. Lovely bit of timing, lovely stroke from Ben Slater. He moves on to 14, 27 for 2. Nottinghamshire choosing to bat first, essentially. I think it was a little bit of an agreement. Next ball is chopped away and partially stopped at backward point, and They've run a couple. Clarke and Slater, as we know, are both pretty quick between the sticks, and they come back for a 3. So the start of this 10th over has been a productive one for Ben Slater, a 4 and a 3, and Slater is on 17. Notts a 30 for 2 in the 10th over. Clarke on strike on 4. Got a cup of tea here that I've had since before the start of play, so we'll have a little slurp. And predictably, stone cold. 30 for 2. Grey clouds overhead, but they're blowing across the ground from the west. Clarke has 4. Nice looking shot by the former Worcestershire man. In fact, it's gone through the offside. Failed a dive there at wideish extra cover, and for all the world I thought he'd drop down on top of it, but unable to. That's the captain, who certainly seems to have kept his lockdown here. Louis Shaw, sprouting out from under his dark blue cap. And takes his cap off and gives it all a little bit of a shake. Thought he'd got there. It's a good effort, but it was a good shot from Clarke, who moves on to 8, 34 for 2. Next ball hit firmly. You really did hear the thwack of bat on ball there from Clarke. Doesn't get a run for it as he forces it up to mid-on. Mark Waugh has been mentioned as a former Notts and Oxford University player. Of course, Mark Crawley, another former Notts player, going back a wee while now. 34 for 2. Next ball, again hit by Clarke, almost using it as shine practice up to mid-on. Mark Crawley played against Notts a couple of times for Oxford University. Got 98 in 1988 against Notts at the Parks, and then made his Notts debut in the same fixture. This one is squared Clarke up, and it looped away. It was in the air for a while, and there were some oohs and ahs out there that it didn't carry to point. They decide not to try and run on the eventual misfield. 34 for 2. This time there is a lengthy chat between skipper and bowler at the far end, so perhaps we've seen the end for now of Toby Greatwood. 5 overs, none for 19. It's bowled nicely. 34 for 2 is the score after 10 overs. We've been playing for 3/4 of an hour. And Whitlock, who has both wickets to fall so far, is going to continue. Other players who've represented both that I can think of: Andrew Corran going back into the 60s, and a little bit closer, Jason Gallion. Start of a new over wide of the off stump. Notts' highest total against the Universities, 578 for 7. They scored in 1951. Reg Simpson getting a double 100. 201 he made. That's the only double 100 by a Notts player in the sequence of first-class matches between the two teams. Indeed, I mentioned there was only one game played here. That was in 1929, and an Oxford player got 151. That's a good delivery. Past Slater, who's on 17. It's just a dozen batsmen over the years who've scored centuries on their Nottinghamshire debut, and 4 of them have come against Oxford University. Chris Broad in 1984, Mark Crawley in 1991. I'll tell you the other 2 in a second. Another good delivery, and they're asking there for an edge. And just look at the reaction there of all the Oxford University players. Slater unmoved, and so too umpire Rob White. And to be fair, the bowler wasn't that keen, but I think a lot of what happened might have been out of the sight of him, because it jagged back, and certainly behind the wicket they were fairly keen. 34 for 2. Slater remains on 17. Certainly gave no indication that he felt he'd hit it, but why would he? Next ball, he has it, forces it through the offside. I think there's enough juice on that to go to the fence. There is indeed. That's gone for 4 runs. Fielded there on the boundary edge by Luke Fletcher, who's having a bit of a walk round the ground. Mentioned the 4 Nottinghamshire players who've scored their centuries on debut against Oxford University. Chris Broad and Mark Crawley, and the other 2 were Jimmy Adams and David Hussey in 2004. 38 for 2. Next ball left alone by Slater, who has 21. Clarke has 8. This pair have added 25 since the fall of the second wicket, when Ben Duckett was out for naught. That's 13 for 2 at that stage. Next ball into the pads, and this time Whitlock is asking, may have been sliding down. End of the over, end of the 11th over. 38 for 2. Overs have gone. Whitlock 6 overs, 2 for 15. Greatwood 5 overs, none for 19. I'm just wondering if there will be a bowling change. The fielding side have disappeared to the boundary edge to sanitise their hands. Might just be a little opportunity here to prepare a new bowler. 38 for 2. Slater 21. Clarke is 8. Started at 11. Lunch will be at 1. Tea at 3:40, and the last session should be between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. We will play until 6 o'clock, and that will be it. I would imagine it will be getting fairly gloomy, as we haven't had the clock change, but even if they've only had 82 or 83 overs or something like that in the day, they will stop at 6 o'clock. 38 for 2. No, Greatwood is going to continue, so no bowling changes as yet. Greatwood 5 overs, none for 19. Where were you 10 years ago? Notts were in Abu Dhabi. They were just preparing for the match against the MCC, which started on the 27th of March. 38 for 2. The defending champions had just arrived in the UAE on this date. There's a couple of runs for Joe Clarke. He'll move into double figures, on to 10. 40 for 2. Not too many of the Not side remain. Obviously Luke Fletcher, Stephen Mullaney. Samit Patel, of course, still around, but not playing red ball cricket, or at least that's the plan. Clarke has 10. Next ball short of a length, and Clarke with time forces it to mid-off, where the captain does the fielding. Clarke's got a bit of a start here. Orange and blue stickers on his bat. Not too many stickers at all on Ben Slater's. Next one is forced into the offside and he's caught. Well, I was just saying that Clarke's got a bit of a start. Curse of the commentator again. It was hit very forcefully, but remained in the air. It was only about 18 inches to. He's the player that has a little bit of T20 experience with Hampshire. It's a good catch. The bowling of Toby Greatwood out for 10. Couple of fours there to Joe Clarke. Faced 20 balls, batted for half an hour. And that's a 40 for 3. Ben Slater just taking the opportunity to get a drink on board. That's Liam Patterson-White out there on 12-man duties. Patterson-White and Patterson now, of course, the South African quick Dane Patterson, announced yesterday as the club's overseas signing. It is going to be Ben Compton coming in at 5 with knots on 40 for 3. Compton didn't feature last year, and he had an opportunity in the friendly game at Edgbaston. Didn't really make the most of his opportunity. Not starting the season with Asiba Mead and Chris Nash and Stephen Mullany at the top of the order. That changed around. Ben Slater, of course, was allowed to go on loan to Leicestershire, scored a chunk of runs before being brought back. Ben Compton didn't get an opportunity. 40 for 3. So Compton, left-hander, come in at number 5. All those illustrious bloodlines, of course. 40 for 3. Next ball is forced away by Compton. That's a confident start. Full pitch delivery just outside off stump, driven through the offside for 4, and Compton's away. 44 for 3. South African born. Ben Compton, born in Durban. It's his birthday on Monday, the 29th. He'll be 27, so perhaps a little bit of time to make up for Ben Compton. He's only played the 2 first-class matches, back end of the 2019 season, played here against Warwickshire, and then the match at the Oval against Surrey, which was badly affected by the rain. The game here against Warwickshire, his debut. Both Dominic Sibley and Joe Clarke scored hundreds in each innings, which is a little bit of a rarity. 44 for 3. Next ball has cut Compton in half. That's a good reply by Toby Greatwood. Love to hear from you at Brace Cricket on the old Twittery thing. Bad barred bird, as the echoey sound seems to have died down a bit, which is good. Greatwood in. Bowls edged. Going to be more runs here for Compton. Might be his second boundary of the over. It is indeed. It's just run away off an outside edge safely along the ground. Bisected the slips for 4 runs, and that's an eventful over. Saw the downfall of Joe Clarke and a couple of boundaries to Nick Compton, who's on 8. 48 for 3, so both opening bowlers have now taken wickets. Whitlock 2 for 15 from his 6 overs. Greatwood 1 for 29 from his 6 overs. Positive start from Richard Eggleston to the season. Looks like normal multi-day batting service has been resumed. It's a little harsh, Richard. It really is wobbling around out there. But the students, I'm sure, will be delighted to get those 3 wickets. Got a bowling change, and this is Alex Wilkinson. I've got him down as 12th man, so clearly the students like Notzer choosing from 12 and sharing it around a little bit. What can we tell you about Alex Wilkinson? Well, not too much. He's 24 years of age, left arm seamer, as we can see, left-handed batter, and plays his cricket for Bromsgrove Cricket Club in the Midlands, and he's played a little bit for Herefordshire. So here is Wilkinson in and bowls, and that's a good start, but it's gone for 4. It was nicely pitched up. He gave it every opportunity to swing, but it was just too full, and Slater almost leaning on the shot. Has run it away into the boundary boards at the base of the Smith Cooper stand. Slater on 25. That's the 50 up for Notts. 52 for 3 in the 13th over. And we're just on the hour. Just coming up to midday. A few seconds away from it. Next ball is defended by Slater. 2 left-handers out there for the second time this morning. Only briefly had Slater and Duckett together. Jack Charters that I was mentioning, the man referred to as right arm quick, or right arm fast, is loosening up. He's at mid-on. Number 64 there, just in the bottom of your screen, as the next ball is crunched away by Slater. That's nice. He's earned the right, really, to get 1 or 2 deliveries like that, Slater, because this has been a battling hour out there. He's dodged a few bullets that saw off Amid Duckett and Clarke. Edges for Amid and Duckett. Clarke driving uppishly. 56 for 3. Is Wilkinson. No run on this occasion. A number of people have bumped into over the last week or two, like we're all out there bumping into people, but had 1 or 2 walks where I've met people, and they've sort of found it a little difficult to understand what's going on this season. Is Wilkinson in and bowls, and this time it's defended with regards to the county championship. Well, if you're in that category, I'll try and breathe a little bit of sense into it. 18 first-class counties, as we know, and they've, rather than 2 divisions, they've been split into 3 groups of 6. A little bit like we had last year with the Bob Willis Trophy. Next ball is hit firmly. That's decent stop, and Compton had to get back. Stopped by Charters at mid-on. It was parried across to Louis Shaw. Compton had backed up a long way down and had to dive to get back as Shaw's throw missed the stumps. 56 for 3 at the end of the 13th over. Wilkinson's first over has gone for 8. Charters getting himself ready to bowl from the pavilion end. So Notts are in a group with Durham, Derbyshire, Warwickshire, Worcestershire and Essex, and they play those 5 other counties home and away, so that's 10 matches. The other groups, that's in Group 1. Group 2 is Gloucestershire, Surrey, Leicestershire, Middlesex, Hampshire and Somerset, and the other 6 counties make up Group 3: Lancashire, Yorkshire, Northants, Kent, Glamorgan and Sussex. So after the 10 matches, 10 first-class matches that Notts will have played home and away, Durham, Derby, Warwickshire, Worcestershire and Essex, will really depend on sort of where they are in the table, whether they're first or second, third or fourth, fifth or sixth. If they're first or second, they will then go into another mini group involving the first or second in groups 2 and groups 3, and the same obviously if they're third or fourth or fifth or sixth, they'll play the corresponding positions. Here's Charters. His first ball is full, worked away by Compton for a single. Moves on to 9. That looked a fairly leisurely, almost stiff delivery to begin with from Charters. 57 for 3. then at the back end of the season they will play the mini group. They will play the 2 matches at home and 2 matches away. And again, if I can make this sound like sense, if for example these Charters, we'll just see this delivery, driven nicely by Slater, who's looking increasingly comfortable at the crease, gets a boundary through the offside. Nice shot from the former Derbyshire man. Slater on to 33, 61 for 3. If, for example, Notts and Durham finished 3rd and 4th, respectively, in their group, obviously they'd play the 3rd and 4th in groups 2 and groups 3. They wouldn't play Durham again, and the points that Notts got against Durham and the points that Durham got against Notts would remain on the, or would stay on the table, or start on the table for those end of season matches. This goes through to the wicket keeper Taylor. So thereby those in the top group would essentially be playing off for the county championship, and the 2 that finish right at the top, 1st and 2nd, would play a grand final at Lord's, the Bob Willis Trophy, right at the end of the season, as they did in 2020 when Essex and Somerset played off. So that's essentially it. The schedule, or there should be a scheduled 14 first-class games, but not like we've ever had before. So there will be 4 end-of-season games, and we won't know for quite some time who they'll be playing or where. Might be nice. Speaking selfishly here, there might be nice trips to maybe Hove or Lords, or there might be closer to home trips to maybe Leicestershire and Northants. Not that there's anything wrong with trips to them, but do like to go to the south coast, and I do like to go to Lords. But there we are. That's a selfish thing. The cricket, of course, this year there's tickets on sale for the Blast. Can Notts be the first side to defend their trophy? What they did do on finals day was beat Lancashire, and that match meant that Notts have won more T20 domestic matches than any other county. They were neck and neck with Lancashire going into that game that they beat in the semi-final. Next ball's clipped away onto the leg side. 62 for 3 now, with that single taking Slater to 34, Compton to 9. Charters 1 over under his belt, none for 6. Wilkinson none for 8. 2 wickets to Whitlock and 1 for Greatwood. Knocked 62 for 3 after 14 overs. So Notts will be looking to defend the T20 Blast trophy, which I've not seen yet. If anybody in the ground's listening, I was there at Edgbaston with Paul Johnson, right up in. We think we're high up here at Trent Bridge. We were a lot higher at Edgbaston, and just unable to get down and enjoy the celebrations or cheer the guys on after that win at Edgbaston, as Wilkinson starts a new over. This past the outside edge and through to the keeper, and I'm sure once people are allowed back in the ground, I'm sure many of them would like to get a photo with the Blast trophy. Notts defeating Surrey in the final. First time that finals day had leaked over into a second day or finals day weekend, as it became. There was no play on the Saturday. Here's Wilkinson in again to Slater. Ground bathed in sunshine. How lovely. 62 for 3, Slater 34, Compton 9. Please have a little tolerance towards the club and all they're trying to do with regards to the live stream. There'll be no graphics today, and that's because they're working on 1 or 2 things. 62 for 3, as the next one is forced down into the ground by Ben Slater. 34 from 49. He's been there since the start. Lost to Seba Mead in the 3rd over, a Mead out for 5. Ben Duckett in the 5th over. Duckett didn't score, and Joe Clarke made 10. He fell in the 12th over. Wilkinson bowls another nice looking push into the gap. Probably only a single as Shaw does the fielding. The 15th over. Little bit of a delay here. Nick, I beg your pardon, he would do that. Ben Compton, just readying himself. First time he's faced Wilkinson, and that's a good ball to get first up. .63 for 3. Final ball of the 15th over. Oh, that's I think it was a bottom edge by Compton, taking it past the keeper. Might just have been an awkward bounce. Let's have a little look. Can't see Rob White preparing to signal to the score, as he doesn't. So 2 runs, 65 for 3. Compton into double figures on 11. He's now 2nd top scorer behind Ben Slater, who's on 35. 15 gone, 65 for 3 is the score. So Stephen Mullaney and Tom Moores, you'd imagine, with the pads on. It's going to be Charters. On his knees, bowls, and pushed back to him by Slater. And then at mid-off, Louis Shaw just throwing the ball back to the bowler. Shaw, of course, the skipper, and he's taken over from Toby Petman, who captained the Dark Blues over the last couple of seasons. This one's clipped away on the leg side, single for Slater. I think I'm right in saying that Cambridge University won the first class match between the two sides that was held last year, but the blue is now at stake for the one-day match, and Oxford were the winners of that. 66 for 3. Charters to bowl to Compton on 11. Just tucked him up a little bit, and Compton manages to negotiate. Looking forward to seeing Petman in action. Not involved in this game, but 2 more warm-up fixtures. 4 knots. Warwickshire next week and Leicestershire to follow as Compton pushes into the offside. Moves on to 12. 67 for 3. Nottinghamshire in the 16th over. Mead 5. Duckett 0. Clarke 10. I know there's people joining us all the time, so apologies if there's too much repetition, but without the score on the screen, It's only right that we keep mentioning it. 67 for 3 it is. And here's Slater on 36. On strike, just one slip. This one's allowed to go through to Matthew Taylor. So Notts have announced the signing of Dane Patterson. There was all sorts of talk that he was going to join Notts for last year, but that was sort of around about this time last year. 67 for 3, edged, and will that be taken? No, it's just short of the man at slip, McBride, who took that catch early on. He was diving away from me. Don't necessarily think he put it down. I think it was just short of him. Wasn't a really full-blooded, convincing go at the ball by Slater. Gently pushed at it, and I think the lack of pace just ensured it fell short of McBride, but I might be wrong on that. I was certainly obscured from seeing it. Yeah, so Patterson, as I said, there was all sorts of talk around about 12 months ago that he was joining Notts, but the first part of the 2020 season didn't happen. It was pushed back, and we eventually got underway in August. There's Wilkinson starting a new over. The 17th of the day, 67 for 3 Notts. Dwayne Pretorius was another South African that was being linked with Notts around that time, but yesterday we had confirmation that Dane Patterson has signed. Will be with Notts all summer and ostensibly available for all competitions. 67 for 3. Next ball wide of the off stump, that goes through to the keeper. I say that because I don't know what's happening with Imad Wazim, whether he would be available to come back for the blast, or whether Notts would use Christian and Patterson. I don't know as yet. 2 test matches for Patterson, both against England this recent winter. Stuart Broad was an opponent, of course, and he's played in 4 ODIs and 8 T20 internationals. Patterson. Here's Wilkinson, bowling wide of the off stump. Compton having nothing to do with it. Stays on 12, 67 for 3. Of course, Notts have had a lengthy association with South African players and indeed people born in South Africa. We've only got to look at the man on strike at the moment, Ben Compton, who gets another run, tickling this one behind square to move on to 13. 68 for 3. Top of my head stuff this. Obviously Clive Rice, Kenny Watson about that time, although Watson wasn't a full international, was he? Dave Callaghan played just the 1 game. Nicky Boyer, Lance Klusner, Steve Elworthy, and in nearer times, Hashim Amla. Nice looking shot and a decent stop in the covers. But just a single there to Slater. Moves on to 37, 69 for 3. Ashwell Prince. Who else has played? South Africa, Vernon Philander, Imran Tahir. I'm sure there's more, but we'll quit while we're ahead. 69 for 3. Number of players, of course, born in South Africa, apart from Compton. Kevin Peterson, Michael Lum spring to mind. Compton's on strike on 13. That's the end of the 17th over. Hamid 5, Duckett without scoring, Clarke for 10. The players to be dismissed this morning. And about 40 minutes to go until lunch. Notts ticking along at just over 4 runs and over. This partnership now worth 29 between Slater and Compton. 4 bowlers used so far by the students. Whitlock and Greatwood impressed with the new ball. Yeah, Rob Collins. Don't forget Greg Smith. That's the big left arm quickie. Quite a character he was. A good player as well. Notts have had a couple of Greg Smiths, of course, this century. Not the one from was acquired from Leicestershire in recent times, but Greg Smith around about 2001, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Was he at the club? This goes through to the keeper. Thanks to Rob Collins for that prompt. .69 for 3. Guessing all Notts fans would have been delighted to hear that Dan Christian was coming back again. What a record he's got with Notts. This is pushed into the offside. Twice leading them to the blaster. Another couple of finals days as well under his stewardship. And it's good to see the success he's had and continues to enjoy all around the globe. A terrific player, a terrific leader. Dan Christian, 69 for 3. Next one's played on the leg side. No run. Slater stays on 37. 3 winners' medals in the T20 Blast now for Christian. 3 for Ben Duckett as well, of course. He picked up a couple with Northants. I think Paul Nixon's the only other one, apart from those 2 players, to have 3 winners' medals. Again, might be wrong. Next one is fielded off his own bowling by Charters. Pushing the ball through. I don't think I'd describe him as particularly fast, but certainly quickly enough. Very impressed with Whitlock, the opening bowler from the Radcliffe Road end this morning that saw off Hamid and Duckett. And there's Charters again, bends the back and is forced away by Slater. Nice looking shot from Ben Slater. Gets 3 runs on this occasion to move on to 40. 72 for 3. Second top scorer in the Bob Willis Trophy last year in the group stages. Ben Slater, Jake Libby, top scorer. That's the end of the over. 72 for 3. Don't know if Slater wants a drink or some new gloves, but he'll have the opportunity now because the students are just all leaving the playing area momentarily to go and sanitise their hands. If you're just joining us, a very warm welcome, a warm afternoon, because we're past the yard arm. Notts batting first in this 3-day friendly, and they lost to Seba Mead, caught at slip by McBride off the bowling of Whitlock for 5. That was 11 for 1 in the 3rd over. Ben Duckett failed to score. He nicked one behind. Good take by Matthew Taylor, the wicket keeper, who is associated with Kimberley Cricket Club, not too far away. Off the bowling of Whitlock for naught. That was 13 for 2 in the 5th. Both wickets to Whitlock, and then the other new ball bowler, Toby Greatwood, got the wicket of Clarke, who was driving uppishly. It was only just uppishly. It couldn't have got more than about 18 inches, 2 feet off the ground, and it was a good catch in the covers by Calvin Harrison. Clarke out for 10. That was 40 for 3 in the 12th. This has been quite a protracted break, but lots have ticked along nicely. Exactly 4 and over now. 72 for 3. after 18 overs. The general format would be, in an ideal world, I guess, would be for Notts to bat all day today. Let their bowlers do their thing tomorrow, and then on the final day you might see one or two Nottinghamshire batsmen who haven't necessarily filled their boots in the first innings. Obviously Duckett and Hamid spring to mind, have a little bit of a go, and if they can then get some runs, a prospect of setting the game up, with Oxford University having a bit of a chase second half of the third day. But a lot depends on a lot of things there. Obviously the students are in this to play hard, to play fair, and to try and win themselves, but it may well be that they can prevent Notts from dominating. 72 for 3. Next ball sees Slater run it away on the offside for his 41st run. It's just a general template of how these three-day friendlies tend to go, county side against the students, but of course Notts could be skittled out much earlier than close of play today. Both sides will certainly want to get as much cricket in over the 9 sessions as they can. Next ball, it's full. Compton missed out a little bit. He's on 13. Partnership is 33. Again, folks, no need to keep asking me what's happened to the graphics. They won't be on the screen today. Some new bits of kit, and it's all just taking a little bit of coming together. And these games are being used to trial one or two things. 73 for 3. This is run away to backward point for a single. Compton just had to react quickly. It was a good bit of fielding there from that's Rizvi coming in off that fence. 74 for 3. Slater back on strike on 41. First over of the day, we had 4 byes, the ball swinging prodigiously past the keeper. They remain the only extras on the board. There's Wilkinson. He's 4th over now, none for 15. Lots of cricket here at Trent Bridge this summer, of course. I think I'm right in saying that the T20 International, England against Pakistan, all available tickets for the time being, at any rate, are sold out. 74 for 3. I'm not sure if that's a full allocation that's gone on sale, or waiting to see if they can have the full allocation, but I don't think there's tickets on sale at the moment for that. 74 for 3, but the test match in early August here, England against India, there are still a few tickets available on most, if not all, days. Obviously all the relevant information on the Notts website. You can get the Blast tickets, you can get the 100 tickets if you plan on coming along and either seeing what it's about or getting behind the Trent Rockets. 4 home games here in the 100 for the men, and obviously some for the women's team as well. 74 for 3. Next ball forced into the offside by Compton. There's no run. Loughborough Lightning will be playing at least one match here. It's part of a double header. I think it's a Saturday fixture when the Outlaws play against Lancashire Lightning. I think Loughborough Lightning are playing. That's a double header, so look out for that one. That's good value for money. Come along hopefully everybody will be allowed in. 74 for 3. That's a really good bit of bowling there from Charters. Put the ball in a good area, and Compton eyed it suspiciously as he groped at fresh air a little bit. And of course, the back end of the season, the Royal London One Day Cup final will be held for the first time at Trent Bridge. Should have been staged here last year, of course, but then they didn't do that competition. Compton's going to pull this one away on the leg side. Didn't get any contact on it. So all being well, we've got a full summer of cricket ahead of us. I'm certainly not the one to confirm anything, but is it around about the 20th of May that hopefully people will be allowed in, spectators in side grounds? This one's clipped away behind square, don't take that as gospel, but the day can't come quickly enough. 75 for 3. Slater has 41. Back on strike, Compton has 15. Two balls left in the 20th over. Nice looking push into the offside by Slater, gets a single. And he's just to get it wide enough of the fielder. Number 19 out there who dived to try and make the stop. I don't have a number 19 on my list, but doesn't really matter. This one's clipped on the leg side. Single taken by Compton. Another sharp bit of fielding. End of the 20th, 77 for 3. So not just dipped under 4 runs and over. Slater 42, Compton 16. Wilkinson and Charters have now both bowled 4 overs apiece. Similar figures. Wilkinson none for 15, Charters none for 14. Just the one maiden bowled so far, that by Whitlock. Pretty pleasant conditions. Number of the fielders just in shirt sleeves. This time of year you normally expect 3 jumpers at the very least. There's a delivery 4 wide of the off stick by Wilkinson. Not in line. Sadly can't see how much is moving the ball. A word from his captain. Got a monitor here. We'll try and have a little bit of a closer look at this next delivery on the monitor rather than leaning out the window. Yeah, he's got a little bit of shape there, hasn't he? Just moving it away from the left-handed Compton, who remains on 16. Slater 42. "171 days I make it since Notts won the last 5 of those players who got winners' medals that evening on duty today. This one seemed to hold its line a little bit more, just wide of the off stump. Clarke, Duckett, Moores, Mullaney and Peter Trego's in the 13. Obviously Alex Hales not involved. Samit Patel. Guess he's missing his cricket. A little bit strange having spent the last 20 odd years involved with knots from the start of the season, 77 for 3, but we're not expecting to see Samit involved until the start of the blast. Dan Christian and Imad Wazim were the overseas players, of course, back at Edgbaston in early October. Matt Carter not involved in this game, and of course Jake Ball. Good to see Jake with England, although he's not managed to get a game, and officially is one of the standby players for the current ODI series, so he probably won't play in that. This one's gone down the leg side. I think that's going to be a leg by. Yes, Rob White just tapping his knee. 5th extra of the day, 78 for 3, Slater 42, Compton 16. Quite enjoyed watching the England-India series. Got the old dish on the wall, so I can watch that. I've not got the BT Sports. I've not been able to. This one goes through to the keeper, to watch the bash, the big bash this winter, or indeed the West Indies cricket. But did hear Alex Hale's century on the radio in the big bash. Really would be nice, I think, to see him back in England colours, but it does seem as if he's no nearer at the moment to getting back in the white ball ranks. 78 for 3. They've been busy, the test team, certainly. South Africa, Sri Lanka and India tours as Charters starts his 5th over. This one's wide of the off stump. 78 for 3, the start of the 22nd. Hamid 5, Duckett 0, Clarke 10. The 3 players to be dismissed. Next ball is pushed up to mid-off by Compton. Anybody takes exception to me referring to them as Oxford University. I know it is the correct title now, the Oxford University Centre of Cricketing Excellence, but we will call it Oxford University or the students, so bear with me. Bit of a mouthful, isn't it, the full title. 78 for 3 as the sun again pops in an appearance. It's wide of the off stump, and yeah, I was just going to say that might just cause Rob Bailey to have a little bit of a look, and he does call a wide. 79 for 3. Somebody's car alarm blaring away. Charters in once more down the leg side this time. Not quite got the radar right here, and that was all too predictable, overcompensating, having bowled an offside wide. Now bowls one down the leg side, or a delivery down the leg side, should I say. It wasn't called as a wide. Next ball pushed onto the leg side. There was just a little bit of shall we, shan't we, but in the end they sort themselves out, go through for a single. A lot at stake, I fancy, here for Ben Compton. If we could really make the most of his opportunity here to spend some time in the middle and look good in doing so. And an opportunity, I guess. 80 for 3. Next ball is run to backward point. Lots and lots of competition for places, which I guess is what the coaching staff are are looking for, round about that number 8 spot. Crikey. Where are you going? Peter Trigo, Joey Everson, Lyndon James, Brett Hutton. Next ball forced away, and again another good stop, a decent stop. Backward point, that's Charlie Gwynn, end of the over, 81 for 3. I know he won't be listening, but wishing my good chum John Gwynn all the very best. He's had some health issues and continues to have health issues. I'm sure many of you will know the popular sports broadcaster and commentator John Gwynn, who I've known very well for many years. He's also come back to Old Trafford in recent times as the man on the tannoy there. So huge cricketing link, John Gwynn. Charlie Gwynn, no relation, and indeed no E on the end either, but just prompted to mention John and wish him well. 81 for 3 after 22. Next ball forced into the offside. Good stop by that man Gwynn, who's impressed in the field. Oh, he's impressed so much he gets a knuckle bump, do they call it? A fist bump from his skipper, Louis Shaw. 81 for 3. Partnership now worth 41 between Slater and Compton. Wickets going down at 11, 13 and 40. Wilkinson bowls, shot pulled away with a flourish by Slater. Handsome shot from Ben Slater. He'll have enjoyed that. Pulling it front of square through mid-wicket, in fact, for 4 to the furthest boundary. Nice shot. Wonder if we might get a little bit of spin in the lead up to lunch. There's been a pattern of symmetry displayed by the university skippers so far. Louis Shaw, both opening bowlers, has had 6 overs apiece. This is Wilkinson's 6th over, and Charters, who hands him the ball, he's had 5 from the pavilion end. It might be 6, 6, 6, 6, and then perhaps a little bit of spin before lunch. We'll have to see. Here's Wilkinson, needs to push the ball up a little further, and again he over pitches slightly, pushed up to Charters by Slater. Takes the single to move on to 48. Scored a century almost exactly 2 years ago against the Light Blues, Cambridge University. Ben Slater. It was I guess overshadowed a little bit by the fact that at the other end Ben Duckett got a double 100, but the pair of them putting on, was it 324? 86 for 3. Really enjoyed themselves in the Fenner's spotlight 2 years ago, Slater and Duckett. These runs today won't necessarily feature in any career stats, but might just be so important just to send him into the season in good nick. Compton lets this go through to Taylor. 86 for 3, 1 ball left in the 23rd. Dave Bracegirdle with you at Trent Bridge. Over the course of the 3 days we'll see if we can entice a guest or two up here alongside me. Of course, so difficult. The players, of course, very much in the bubble. Won't be getting any players up anytime soon, I don't think. Next ball is defended by Compton, who stays on 17 not out. Ben Slater 48 not out. Nottinghamshire 86 for 3 after 23 overs here at Trent Bridge as the ground not literally opening its doors to cricket on the occasion of the start of the 2021 season. Going to be Charters, so 3 bowlers have now had 6 overs, and this is Charters' 6th over, bowling to Slater, and this should take him to his 50 because he's pushed it into the gap on the offside and comfortably comes back for his 2nd run. Well battered Ben Slater goes up to a half century. Nicely done, 88 for 3. Ben Compton comes down and congratulates his partner. 72 balls, 7 fours for Ben Slater. 102 minutes at the crease. He's played nicely. There's one edge fell, I think, just short of slip. Tickled this one nice and fine, and this one might run away for 4. Work for the fielder to do. He can't get there down at very fine leg, and no sooner has Slater reached his 50 than he's on to 54 with his 8th boundary. Mention 2021, it's a 50 partnership as well, 52 from 72 balls up on the screen. Slater's contribution 33, Compton's 17, 92 for 3. I'll get to the point in a second why 21 rang a bell. Oh, another nice shot from Slater, a little bit of a masterclass here from the Chesterfield churner. That's 10 from 3 balls, and Jack Charters might just be wishing that he'd only had 5 overs in this spell, because he's getting a little bit of tap here. Compton watching on, and also at every opportunity coming down and congratulating his partner, because there's been some nice shots from Slater. He's on to 58. 2-4-4 at the start of this, the 24th over. It's 96 for 3. Next ball, again hit nicely, crisply, but not in the gap. Up to shore at mid-off. Yeah, back to 21. It was 1921 then, 100 years ago, that Charlie McCartney, the Australian, scored the highest score ever on this ground. Highest score against Notts, made 345 in the tour match, Notts against the Australians. That was in June 1921. 96 for 3. Oh, and Slater's left hobbling there as he either inside edges the ball onto his instep, most probably. I wouldn't have imagined he'd just hit his foot with his bat, but he's left hobbling a bit. 96 for 3. Yeah, the highest score ever against Notts. Charlie McCartney, 345 here in 1921. A 3-day match that the Australians won by an innings and 517. That was a little bit of a tanking, wasn't it? Australia 675, Notts 58 and 100. Another single taken here by Slater at the end of the over. 97 for 3. He'll keep strike. 24 overs have gone, and Charters now 6 overs, none for 28. Wilkinson 6 overs, none for 20. So 4 bowlers have shared the 24 overs between them. And we're going to have a hand sanitising break as we inch closer to the lunch break, about 12 or 13 minutes away. Notts 97 for 3. They've got that run rate back up above 4 runs and over. Once again, Hamid 5, Duckett 0 and Clarke 10. The 3 men out, and I guess if this was 2 weeks tomorrow, the start of the county championship, the start of the first class season, when Notts host Durham here, whoever was batting, whoever was bowling, I guess they'd sort of say, probably me saying, match probably on an even keel. The batting side would have scored briskly enough on the opening morning, and the side in the field would have achieved #1 objective, 3 wickets in the session. But that's all in the future. 2 weeks tomorrow it starts, and once again, in case you didn't hear it, the good news, and I know everything would then be geared back to, oh, it's you saying it because it's what you do, but I do think in general it's good news that the BBC and the ECB this week have agreed on a 4-year deal for up and down the country, all the matches to be or commentary to be from all matches in all 3 competitions, brought to you by the BBC. Because even if I'm not at a game, I love to listen to other matches and watch the live streams and enjoy. I think as the cricket fans up and down the country, I think the service to what it used to be, folks, is a real boon. We've got a change of bowling, we've got a little bit of spin, and it's the leg spinner Calvin Harrison, who, as I mentioned earlier, played 2 blast games for Hampshire last year, who's got the opportunity to send down the first bit of spin seen at Trent Bridge this summer. First ball landed right on a sixpence. Nice loopy action. Worked away on the leg side by Slater. That's his 60th run. $98 for 3 now. Slater 60. Compton 17. Different challenge for Ben Compton. Just before lunch, there's one slip in there. 3 men saving 1 on the offside, and a strongly packed leg side field. 4 of them saving a single, but 2 of them in fairly tight. Oh, this is short, and Compton's gone on the pull. He's got a single. It was so short, that one, he could almost have played over the top of it. Got scuttled by one that kept low, but he didn't, kept his eye on it. Gets his 18th run. 99 for 3. Here's Harrison. Tossed the first 2 up, but that one was much shorter delivery. Here again, lovely delivery. Got a nice action. Slater's on 60. Won't want to give it away now. Be looking forward to a cup of tea and a sit down for 40 minutes. This one just angled down the leg side, off the pad, no run. Fielded by Charters. At Brace Cricket, if you want to get in touch over the lunch break. Next ball driven and well stopped. So Harrison threw his first over. 2 singles came from it. 99 for 3 after 25 overs. So not so. 1 short of the 100 and 1 run short of, again, being at 4 and over. So who's going to bowl from the far end? I think there's going to be a change. So Charters has finished his 6 overs, none for 28, and they're going to bring Whitlock back. Hugo Whitlock, whose opening 6 overs were from the Radcliffe Road end, picked up the first 2 wickets to fall, Hamid and Duckett. He's now going to send down 1, perhaps 2 overs from the pavilion end just before lunch. Rob Bailey, the umpire, holds out his arm. Left armour to left-hander. Got a temporary screen in situ. We've seen it before. It's sort of filling that gap between the pavilion and the admin block, the base of the batman board. Here's Whitlock round the wicket bowls, and this one has gone through to the keeper. Did I say left arm? Didn't mean left arm if I did. He's gone right arm round to the left-handed Compton. Swung the new ball nicely in the early stages. It's a bit older now. This is the 26th over. He's in once more and bowls, and Compton pushes pleasingly up to the captain. .99 for 3. Next delivery wide of the off stump, died in front of Taylor. Did well to take that. (1993) at the Parks, Notts were roundly beaten by Oxford University, and it was somebody went on to become their captain who got them home. Jason Gallion was Oxford University skipper, scored 141 not out to lead his side to a last day run chase. 99 for 3. Was a period all through the 80s and 90s where Notts every year went to the Parks, but it wasn't always. In fact, it was a bit of a rarity. If it was right at the start of the season, they very often go midway through or in June, and for that reason you'll see a variety of players who've played in that match, because Notts would have been looking to rest a few players. This one down the leg side, but they did go every year, and for that reason you look at career stats of people like Paul Johnson, Tim Robinson, Derek Randall, John Birch. They played against Oxford University many times, and a lot of them of course filled their boots, but it was also an opportunity for Notts to blood a few young uns. Both Broads, incidentally, made their Nottinghamshire debut against Oxford University at the Parks. Chris Broad in 1984 and Stuart Broad in 2008. And in that match, Notts had another debutant, one Luke Fletcher. His runs not particularly convincingly, in stark contrast to most of his recent shots. That was a bit of a scruffy edge, but 4 for Ben Slater nonetheless, takes him to 64 and brings up the 100 for Notts. 103 for 3 in the 27th over. Andy Afford made his Nottinghamshire debut, in fact his first class debut as well, in this fixture, or a fixture against Oxford University, 1984. Others that have done so, Dusty Hare, Phil Wilkinson, Graham Archer, Andy Carter, Richard Bates, David Pipes, Kevin O'Brien, the Irishman. His only first class game for Notts was in 2009. Wayne Noon made his debut for Notts against Oxford University. 103 for 3. Here's Harrison, a spinner in again, that's gone through to Taylor. McNeill, Nottinghamshire's director of cricket, scored his maiden first class 100 in the 1986 match. Next ball is drilled back to Harrison. Quite a remarkable thing, that 1986 game, when I was looking at it. I'll tell you in a second, as Harrison bowls and really has some nice flight and dip on this delivery. Slater's on 64. Final ball of the over. I think there'll be time for one more. That's a full toss, and he's missed out a little bit, hitting it into the offside. 103 for 3 after 27 overs. Slater 64, Compton 18. They've added 63. In 1986, that game where Mick Newell scored his maiden first-class 100, he opened the batting with Derek Randall, and they were 228 for none when the declaration came. Yeah, fair enough. Notts actually won the game, losing only 2 wickets. I wouldn't have thought there'd have been all that many times over the years where sides have won a first-class fixture losing only 2 wickets, declaring none down in the first innings and 2 down in the second. But there we are. 103 for 3. Compton is on 18. Last ball of the session. Compton's on 22 with a shot that he meant to play square of the wicket, and he's bottom edged it down through the vacant slip cordon for 4. So he's on 22. 107 for 3. Here comes Whitlock again, round the wicket, bowls to Compton, push to point to Gwynn, who lobs it back to his keeper. 4 balls left in the session. I'm actually going by my watch, phone, laptop and anything else I can see in here, which all say 1 o'clock or comfortably past 1 o'clock, as Gwynn again does the fielding, but the clock above the pavilion at the far end showing about 3 minutes to 1. I'm not particularly sure that they'd go by that one. I don't think so, because you can't sometimes totally rely on it, but if they are, then they might squeeze another over in. But there's still 3 balls left in this one. 107 for 3. Next one is just helped away, tickled away by Nick Compton to get down to the safe end. We always want to be in the last over of a session. Down the far end. He's on 23. Slater's on 64. Been a good return to action for Ben Slater, particularly this morning. Not one of those that will have been here, there and everywhere through the winter and have had to bide his time, work hard, wait for the opportunity and make the most of it if he can. 109 for 3 as he gets a single. Notts have had the big tent, the marquee up at Lady Bay for the last couple of months and been working hard in there. Lots of training, grueling runs and swimming and cycling in the lead up to the cricket part of the winter. This one goes through to Taylor, and that I think is the end of the session. It is indeed. So we've had 28 overs in the 2 hours, and Nottinghamshire, who chose to bat first, I think 109 for 3. I think we're heading off. We are indeed. 109 for 3. Notts losing then Asiba Mead in the 3rd over of the morning. One of 3 players to miss out. Mead edging The big seamer Whitlock into the hands of McBride at slip for 5. That was 11 for 1 in the third. Ben Duckett didn't get off the mark. Whitlock trapped him. Nick going behind to the wicket-keeper Taylor. That was 13 for 2 in the fifth, and Joe Clarke played a couple of nice shots, but then uppishly drilled one to extra cover. Didn't get very high off the ground, but it was certainly high enough for Harrison to pouch the catch off Greatwood for 10. That was 40 for 3 in the 12th. Ben Slater's battered through the session nicely, reached his century from his half century, I beg your pardon, from 72 balls with 7 fours, and has continued quite sprightly since reaching 50. He's on 65 at lunch. Ben Compton has been a very handy ally for him. He's on 23. The pair have added 69. So at lunch, Nottinghamshire 109 for 3 on the first of 3 days of friendly action here at Trent Bridge against Oxford UCCE. If we can get it all out. I hope you've enjoyed this morning's coverage as Trent Bridge continues to enjoy the early spring sunshine. Cricket is back, folks, and Nottinghamshire at lunch 109 for 3. It's a 40-minute lunch break, and I would invite you to come back and enjoy the afternoon action with us at round about 20 to 2.